Great morning, holy brothers and sisters! For the 4th of KISLEV and the Kitzur Likutei Moharan, today's lesson is called Mourning Marriage. The surrounding levels of knowledge are so extremely exalted that the mind cannot bear them and they cannot enter the mind. Instead, remaining outside, they surround the mind from without. We see examples of this phenomenon in a number of deep intellectual problems which the human mind simply cannot fathom. For instance, there are a number of paradoxes that completely elude us, such as that of God's foreknowledge versus free choice, which the human mind cannot understand. This paradox is an example of a surrounding level of knowledge which cannot enter into the mind. Furthermore, the levels of intellect that can enter the mind receive their vitality from these higher surrounding levels. Note that the fact that we do not understand this concept of God's foreknowledge versus free choice constitutes the essence of our power of free will, since in the absence of this knowledge, a person is capable of choosing either life or its opposite. But when the surrounding level of knowledge enters the mind, and when the human intellect expands and this paradox becomes revealed to the human being, at that point, free choice will cease to exist. This is what will take place in the future. When the intellect will rise to such an exalted level of awareness, a person will leave the category of human and rise to the category of angel, a higher spiritual being, and then free choice will cease to exist. From this, you can understand that you should not be troubled by this paradox of God's foreknowledge versus free choice, nor by any other such perplexity, because now it is impossible to comprehend this paradox of God's foreknowledge versus free choice in any way. For it is one of those surrounding levels of knowledge that cannot enter into the mind in this world, which is the world of free choice. If we knew everything absolutely, we would never be able to choose good in this world, because practically speaking, there would be no other option. This is the meaning of the saying of our sages of blessed memory: in the future each tzaddik will be burned by the chuppah, literally marriage canopy of his friend. Baba Basra 75a. For the surrounding levels of knowledge correspond to the chuppah. They are kodesh, holy, and marriage is called kiddushin. Now, the level of intellect that surrounds the mind of one tzaddik is already inside the mind of another tzaddik. When one tzaddik grasps a concept that he did not know previously, for him it is something new, and he is set aflame and burns fervently by the light of this new level of knowledge, since holy fervor is generated when the mind attains new levels of knowledge. Thus, this first tzaddik is said to be burned by this new perception. However, for the tzaddik who is on a higher level than the first, this same concept is no attainment at all, and he is not burned or warmed by it in the least. Rather, he must cover lechapos himself with some other higher concept in order to warm himself. Just as the chuppah, which corresponds to the light of these surrounding levels of knowledge, acts to literally cloak or cover someone, thereby warming him, so does the perception of these surrounding levels of knowledge generate heat and enthusiasm. To continue this parallelism, the 7 days of celebration observed after the chuppah corresponds to the 7 candles. This same idea is also present in the 7 days of mourning, the Shiva period, may God save us. These latter 7 days serve to elevate the soul of the deceased to the light of the face. Therefore, the mourner is required to rip his garment. See Shulchan Aruch, Yoredea 340, may God save us, since the word kira, rip, is numerically equivalent to 370, corresponding to the 370 illuminations of the light of the face. The number 370 is also twice the value of the letters Aleph and Lamed when these letters are spelled out. Aleph, Aleph, Lamed, Fe, and Lamed, Lamed, Mem, Daled. Since the divine name Kel, which spelled Aleph, Lamed, corresponds to the light of the face. Fan our flaming fires for marriage to connect with cloaks and celebrate corresponding completeness. As always, thank you so much for learning together. If you enjoyed this lesson, please remember to like, comment, share, and borrow. And please God, we'll learn again tomorrow.